In this video, you will learn how to never take anything personal ever again. Have somebody ever told you something and you got super upset to the point where you didn't want to talk to that person, or you just wanted to cut that person off? You probably took what they said personal. For those who are just joining, welcome. My name is Terrence, a therapist. I'm a licensed therapist. Make sure you guys tap in, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, so you know when these videos are about to drop. Now, taking things personal, right? Taking things personal, it's hard to take things personal because we are human. We thrive off of people interacting with us, people liking us, people respecting us. So it's very hard to take things personal, especially in this day and age where we have social media, we have these comments, likes, these instant gratification things that we have set up in our society. So when we talk about taking things personal, we usually equate it to real life, right? We have, again, these tools like social media that gives us these boosts of affirmations and things of that nature. So let's talk about how to not take things personal. The issue with taking things personal is it really, really limits you to actually maximizing your full potential. When you take things personal, you allow your emotions to distort your reality. When you take things personal, you allow your emotions to override what's really going on. Anytime you allow your emotions to take over, you have already lost. Anytime you have allowed your emotions to take over, you have already lost. Why do I say that? Because when you are in an emotional state, like when you're taking things personal, you will make irrational decisions, irrational behaviors. When you're in a state of being very, very emotional, you will cloud all of reality, right? This is why it's very, very important to not take things personal, because when you do take things personal, it's going to cloud your judgment about people. It's going to cloud your judgment about yourself. It's not going to really allow you to see what's really going on, or if somebody's giving you feedback, what's really being said. So the first way you can stop taking things personal is to build emotional resilience. Again, emotions will distort what's your reality. Emotions are really designed to help you process what's going on, but sometimes your emotions will process things in a way in which you take things personal. And if you're not able to build up emotional resilience, then you're not going to be able to make rational decisions. So a little bit more about practicing emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is really built off of previous experiences. So when you may be feeling attacked about something based on a previous experience that you had. So when you take something personal, you're going to take it literal, right? So for example, if you were bullied growing up and now you're an adult and somebody's giving you redirection, you may take it as being bullied. If you experience verbal abuse growing up, whether it's from like a parent figure or a guardian, and somebody may be really stern in what they're telling you, you're going to take that personal, right? It's not because of that actual person and what they're saying, but it's triggering an event that happened to you. And now it's hard for you to not take it personal because they've unlocked that previous traumatic event that you had. Emotional resilience really comes with deciphering the difference between the two, is understanding and compartmentalizing what happened to you versus what's actually going on. Because what's actually going on is not the same thing that happened to you previously. So when we talk about building emotional resilience, you have to be cognizant and understanding what's really taking place, what's really going on. Are you trying to heal by taking things personal? Now you're very combative with that person that gave you feedback. Or are you trying to fight those bullies or the people that verbally abused you when you were younger? Now that you're triggered, now you're trying to project that energy into the present moment, which now is distorted because now you're not going based off of what's really going on. You're going based off of how you feel. And when you do that, you take things personal, again, you have already lost the game. The second thing is give people the benefit of the doubt. When we talk about communication, not everybody knows how to communicate effectively. Not everybody knows how to communicate in a proper way. Sometimes we take things out of context because of how somebody said something as opposed to what they actually said. Now, is it better for them to actually have better communication skills? Yeah, of course. Like, it would be perfect if they had better communication skills. But the reality is not everybody has that, right? So you have to give people the benefit of the doubt because there may be some misunderstanding in the communication. There may be some misunderstanding in communication and what they're probably trying to convey to you. And this is a skill because this part you really have to know and understand human behavior. You really have to understand and know human behavior to understand when things are being taken out of context. Because if somebody's telling something to you and it's being conveyed in a certain way and you're not really looking at the messaging, you're looking at more like how they said it, you're going to take that personal and you're going to feel maybe aggressive and feel like you have to stand your ground because maybe you feel disrespected, as opposed to taking it for what they said as opposed to like how they said it. Which leads me to my third point is gain clarification. Gain clarification before you take things personal. Ask questions leading into, okay, did you mean this? Or what did you mean by that? Maybe repeating what they said and saying, did you mean it this way? Because again, the tone and the context may have been misconstrued. And this is why I always encourage folks to have conversations either in person or at least, if you can't meet in person, have that person on the phone. Because many times when we take things personal, it's through text message or it's through email. And that is the worst way you can communicate. Why? Because many times people will put a tone to a text or a tone to an email. And that could be misconstrued because now it's taken out of context. You may be taking it personally, be looking at the text like, okay, why is that person talking to me crazy? You know, you have to follow up by getting clarification. If somebody texts you something and you feel triggered, don't text that person back. Call them, ask for clarification, and proceed accordingly. And if you have access or if you know you'll see them in person, ask them in person for clarification. You know, that can go along with like work, family, relationships. Don't take a tone of a text or an email personal. Get clarification. You have to gain clarification. The fourth thing I'm gonna give y'all is stop worrying about what other people think of you. Stop worrying about what other people think of you. Because when you're so fixated on other people's opinions, it's going to wear you down. It is going to wear you down to the point where you're going to take things so personal with people that you are just going to become a defensive person. You're always going to try to defend yourself from people's opinion. And when you're trying to defend yourself from people's opinion, you are going to be exhausted. You're going to be exhausted because why? Because you're in a constant fight mode. You're in a constant fight mode. You're always trying to defend yourself. You're always trying to prove your point. You're always trying to prove people wrong. You're always trying to change people's perception about you. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Many times people may have preconceived thoughts about you before you even open your mouth. It can be by the way you dress, the way you look, whatever it is, right? And usually you defending yourself can kind of feed into that negative image they already have of you. You know what I mean? So don't worry about what other people are thinking about you. Don't try to put yourself always on the defense. Don't feel like you always have to fight, prove your point, because if you do that and you take those things personal, you will be exhausted. And honestly, people will not gravitate towards you because they know that you're always going to be defensive. You know what I mean? And I know we don't want to feed into like, okay, we want people to like us all the time, but you have to be somebody that people would want to enjoy to be around. You know what I mean? You can't be a joy to be around if you're constantly combative. You know what I mean? You're constantly arguing. You're constantly trying to prove others wrong based on like how they feel about you. Because either way, they're going to talk about you. They're going to talk about you. People are going to talk about you. They're going to always have an opinion of you. They're always going to have some type of judgment of you. You just have to accept the fact that not everybody is going to be on your side. Not everybody's going to have your best interests. Everybody's going to have an opinion of you, whether if that's a good opinion or a bad opinion. So understand you have to stop worrying about what other people think of you. And the last thing I'm going to give you guys, the fifth thing, is to stop projecting your insecurities on other people. You're taking things personal because you are insecure. You lack confidence. You lack the ability to decipher and really admit that you have insecurities and that you're not a confident person. You may try to project that insecurity and show that you're confident, which you're not, by putting it on other people. You know what I mean? So when you're feeling insecure, you have low self-esteem, you have low confidence. This is really like a core thing when it comes to taking things personal, because anything anybody says, anything anybody does to you, you're not going to have a strong foundation, a strong backbone, because with the low self-esteem, the insecurities, the low confidence, it's really going to persuade you to believe everything somebody's saying to you as a negative, everything everybody's doing to you as a negative, and taking those things personal. Because you have to build up your self-confidence. You have to build up your self-worth. You have to understand that things aren't always on the attacking mode for you. You know, a way that you can build your confidence is actually changing your belief about yourself. Because if you don't have a core belief for yourself to help build your confidence, it is going to tear you down. Anytime anybody gives you constructive criticism, feedback, a suggestion, that is going to really crumble you, because you lack the security to actually accept feedback. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Hope this video was helpful. Make sure that you guys really key into not taking things personal, because if you take things personal and literally, it will diminish you from maximizing your full potential. I'm Terrence, the therapist. Y'all take care. Peace.